You've got to be kidding me, Ethan Marlowe gurgled, his tentacles writhing in disbelief as he stared at the holographic display. So these are the humans causing all the chaos? Maya Collins, his superior, let out a snorting laugh, followed by a gurgling sound. I know, right? They look like they'd break in half if you even looked at them wrong. The two X-Rathawk soldiers stood close to a tactical display deep in the belly of their warship, the Tentacular Doom. Their mission was to study the latest intelligence on the troublesome species that had been giving the mighty Thalnar Empire a serious challenge. "But sir," Tyler Morgan protested, his eye stalks wobbling with disbelief. "These creatures are so soft and delicate. Look at this data. They can't even survive on most planets without help. How in the name of the great Sim Mother are they even managing to beat us?" Jarrell X-Nax's tentacles curled into what could almost be called a smirk. "Ah, my naive little blob, that's what we're here to figure out. The High Command is getting pretty tired of having their appendages handed to them by these fragile beings." At that moment, another Vorthan slithered into the room, leaving a glowing trail of bioluminescent slime behind. "Reporting for duty, sir," he announced, saluting with three of his tentacles. Jarrell X-Nax turned toward the newcomer. "Ah, Bloop Zor, perfect timing. We were just discussing our little problem with the humans." Bloop Zor's eye stalks perked up. "Oh, those strange bipedal creatures? I heard they drink dihydrogen monoxide for fun. Can you believe it?" ZXC gasped. "Dihydrogen monoxide? But that's a major component of acid rain on Calathar Prime." "Exactly," Jarrell X-Nax replied, his voice thick with sarcasm. "These humans are clearly insane, which is probably why they're so dangerous." The three X-Rathawk gathered closer around the holographic display, watching footage of human soldiers in action. They all winced as they saw a human leap from a moving vehicle, roll across the ground, and come up firing a projectile weapon. "By the sacred slime," Bloop Zor whispered. "How did their exoskeleton not shatter from that impact?" Maya Collins chuckled, the sound resembling bubbles popping in mud. "That's the thing, you gelatinous goober. They don't have exoskeletons. All their hard parts are on the inside." Tyler Morgan and Bloop Zor exchanged horrified glances. But how do they move?" Tyler Morgan asked, his voice trembling. "Muscles, apparently," Maya Collins said, scrolling through the data. "Fibrous tissues that contract and expand. And get this, they even have an internal skeleton made of calcium." "Calcium?" Bloop Zor exclaimed. "Like the stuff in rocks?" "Yep, that's the one," Maya Collins confirmed, his tentacles shaking with amusement as he watched his subordinates' reactions. Tyler Morgan's color shifted to a sickly green. "So they're walking around with rocks inside them? That's disgusting." "Oh, it gets even better," Jarrell X-Nax said, his voice full of a mix of fascination and revulsion. "Their bodies are mostly water. You know, the kind of stuff that falls from the sky and ruins a perfectly good slime trail." Bloop Zor gagged. "How are they not dissolving?" "Apparently they've evolved to use it," Maya Collins explained. "It's essential for their survival. They even immerse themselves in large bodies of water for fun." "For fun?" Tyler Morgan asked, his eye stalks crossed in confusion. "Yeah, for fun," Maya Collins confirmed. "They call it swimming." The three X-Rathawk fell silent for a moment, trying to wrap their minds around the sheer madness of a species that would willingly submerge themselves in a substance that could potentially dissolve them. "But sir," Bloop Zor asked cautiously, "if they're so strange and fragile, how are they defeating our forces? We have superior technology, stronger bodies, and far more resources." Jarrell X-Nax's tentacles drooped slightly. "That, my slimy friends, is the million-credit question. And it's exactly why we've been tasked with studying these creatures. The High Command is sick and tired of losing to a species that should be easy prey for a carnivorous plant." Suddenly, an alarm blared through the ship, causing the three X-Rathawk to immediately flatten themselves against the floor. "What in the name of the Slime Mother is that?" ZXC screamed over the noise. Maya Collins quickly slithered to a nearby console, his tentacles flying over the controls. His eye stalks stiffened with fear. It's the humans! They found us! But how?" Bloop Zor wailed. "Our cloaking technology is the best in the galaxy." "Apparently not good enough," Maya Collins muttered. He turned to his subordinates. his voice now filled with command. All right, you slippery slugs. Looks like we're about to get a first-hand lesson in human combat tactics. To your battle stations! As Tyler Morgan and Bloop Zor rushed out of the room, leaving trails of panicked slime in their wake, Maya Collins glanced one last time at the tactical display. It showed a fleet of human ships approaching their position at an alarming speed. Well, he muttered to himself, at least we'll finally see what makes these squishy rock bags so special. With that, he slithered out of the room, preparing to face whatever madness these humans had in store. Little did Jarrell Xnax know, he was about to learn why humans were considered the most dangerous warriors in the universe, and it had nothing to do with their bodies and everything to do with what was inside their calcium-encased brains. Captain Ethan Marlowe of the Earth Defense Force ship, Relentless, stood at the view screen, his face a mixture of anticipation and amusement. The alien vessel they had been tracking for the past week. The alien vessel was now within range, its cloaking technology no match for Earth's cutting-edge quantum detection arrays. Well, Ethan Marlowe drawled, his thick Russian accent making every word sound like it was scraping against gravel. Looks like we've got ourselves a big slimy fish. His second-in-command, Maya Collins, rolled her eyes. Really, sir? Fish puns? That's the best you've got? Ethan Marlowe shot her a grin that was nothing short of mischievous. What can I say? I'm just trying to scale up my humor. The bridge crew groaned in unison, but there was a warm undertone to their exasperation. Captain Ethan Marlowe's awful puns had become as much a part of their missions as their advanced weaponry. Status report, Ethan Marlowe commanded, his tone shifting to one of business. Lieutenant Tyler Morgan, the tactical officer, spoke up. The alien vessel is holding steady, sir. No signs of weapons or shields activated. Looks like we might have caught them with their pants down. Ethan Marlowe chuckled. Nice one, Lieutenant. Remind me to put you in charge of the next comedy night. Now, let's go greet our slimy friends, shall we? Maya Collins gave a nod to the communications officer, who tapped a few buttons on her console. The view screen flickered, and suddenly they were staring face-to-eye stalks with a very surprised alien. Greetings, citizens of the, gelatinous persuasion, Ethan Marlowe said, struggling to keep his amusement in check. This is Captain Ethan Marlowe of the Earth Defense Force ship Relentless. We noticed you skulking around our sector, so we thought we'd drop by for a cup of tea and a little chat about interstellar manners. The alien on the screen, a very flustered Maya Collins, gurgled something unintelligible before the universal translator kicked in. This is outrageous! Maya Collins's voice boomed through the bridge. We are on a peaceful scientific mission. You have no right to interfere with the operations of the mighty Thalnar Empire. Ethan Marlowe raised an eyebrow. A peaceful scientific mission, huh? That's funny because last I checked, peaceful scientific missions don't come with warships packed to the brim with enough firepower to glass a small moon. He leaned forward in his chair, his voice dropping to a dangerously smooth tone. How about trying that again, Squidface? Maya Collins's eye stalks quivered with indignation. How dare you! We are the superior species. We will crush you pathetic humans like the insignificant insects you are. The bridge crew erupted into laughter, much to Maya Collins's confusion and mounting frustration. Ethan Marlowe wiped away a tear of laughter. Oh, that's rich. Did you hear that, folks? They think they're the superior species. Tell me, oh mighty space slug, if you're so superior, why did we catch you with your tentacles in the cookie jar? Jarrell Xnax's color rapidly shifted through a spectrum of purple and green. This is an outrage. We demand that you leave immediately or face the consequences. Consequences? Ethan Marlowe repeated, his voice dripping with mock concern. Oh no. Whatever shall we do? Maya Collins, what do you think our chances are against this mighty foe? Maya Collins pretended to think for a moment. Well, sir, considering that we've already defeated 3 of their battle fleets, captured 2 of their colony worlds, and figured out how to neutralize their main weapon systems, I'd say our chances are pretty good. Ethan Marlowe nodded as if remembering something. Ah, yes, I forgot about all that. Silly me. He turned back to the screen, where Maya Collins was looking increasingly uncomfortable. So, my gelatinous friend, here's the deal. You're going to power down your weapons, drop your shields, and prepare to be boarded. We'll be taking any intelligence you've gathered on Earth and our allies, and then, if you're very cooperative, we might just let you slither back to whatever slime pit you call home. Gerald X. Nax's eye stalks drooped in defeat. You barbaric monsters! How can you treat a superior life form this way? Ethan Marlowe's grin turned into something predatory. Superior life form? Let me tell you something, Gelshot. We humans have a saying. It's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog. And let me tell you, we've got more fight in us than you can possibly imagine. With that, he made a swift motion across his throat, signaling the communications officer to cut the transmission. Well, Ethan Marlowe said, leaning back in his chair, that was fun. Lieutenant Tyler Morgan, prep a boarding party. Maya Collins, you have the bridge. I think I'll lead this little excursion myself. Maya Collins shot him a skeptical glance. Sir, are you sure that's wise? Protocol says... Ethan Marlowe waved her off. Protocol is for people who don't know how to improvise, Commander. Besides, I want to see the looks on their faces when they realize just how outmatched they really are. As Ethan Marlowe walked off the bridge whistling a merry tune, Maya Collins shook her head with a mix of exasperation and admiration. That man is going to be the death of me, she muttered. Lieutenant Tyler Morgan grinned. Maybe, but you've got to admit, it's never boring around here. Maya Collins smiled faintly. True enough, Lieutenant, true enough. Meanwhile, aboard the tentacular Doom, chaos was in full swing. Thalnar crew members were frantically slithering through the corridors, leaving trails of panicked slime behind them. Alarms screamed, lights flashed, and the ship's computer endlessly repeated the same unhelpful message. Warning. Imminent boarding by inferior but somehow terrifying species. Please panic in an orderly fashion. In the command center, Maya Collins was struggling to maintain control. Will someone please turn off that blasted alarm? He gurgled, his tentacles flailing in frustration. Tyler Morgan slithered over to a nearby console and began tapping at it randomly. After a few moments of increasingly frantic tentacle mashing, the alarms finally stopped. Thank the Slime Mother. Maya Collins sighed in relief. The great Slime Mother, Maya Collins muttered, turning to address his crew, who were all staring at him with trembling eye stalks. All right, listen up, you spineless invertebrates. We are soldiers of the mighty Thalnar Empire. We will not be intimidated by these calcium-boned, water-filled sacks. Bloop Zor hesitantly raised a tentacle. But sir, didn't they just completely outmaneuver us? And now they're about to board our ship? Gerald X. Nax fixed him with a look that could curdle milk. Yes, thank you for the brilliant observation, Nigen. Stating the obvious. Any other enlightening comments? Tyler Morgan cleared his throat, or whatever passed for a throat in Vorthan biology. Sir, perhaps we should consider surrendering. I mean, they did defeat 3 of our battle fleets, capture 2 of our colony worlds, and neutralize our main weapon systems. Surrender? Gerald X. Nax repeated, his voice rising to a pitch that made everyone's sensory organs vibrate with discomfort. Surrender? Have you lost your gelatinous minds? We are Xratok. We do not surrender. At that moment, the ship shuddered violently, nearly causing everyone to lose their balance. An impressive feat for a species mostly made of slime. What in the name of all that is gooey was that? Maya Collins demanded. A junior officer slithered up to him, looking even paler and more translucent than usual. Sir, the humans have attached some kind of docking mechanism to our hull. They're coming aboard. Maya Collins's eye stalks swiveled erratically as he tried to process this information. But that's impossible. Our hull is composed of the toughest bioorganic material in the galaxy. How could they possibly... He was interrupted by a loud, hissing sound followed by the unmistakable noise of metal being sliced through like soft butter. The Xratok watched in horror as a perfect circle was cut into the wall of their command center, the metal glowing red-hot around the edges. With a loud clang, the circular piece of hull fell inward, revealing a group of heavily armed humans standing in the newly made entrance. At the front of the group was a tall, broad-shouldered man with a salt and pepper beard and a grin that seemed far too cheerful for someone who had just forcibly boarded an alien ship. "Knock! Knock!" Ethan Marlowe called out, his voice echoing in the suddenly quiet command center. "Hope we're not interrupting anything important." Lovely place you've got here. Love what you've done with the slime. The Xrathawk stared at the intruders in stunned silence. Maya Collins was the first to recover, puffing himself up to his full height, which, compared to the humans, wasn't very impressive. "How dare you!" he sputtered, his tentacles writhing with indignation. "This is a clear violation of interstellar law. We demand that you leave immediately." Ethan Marlowe stepped forward, his boots making a squelching sound on the slime-covered floor. He surveyed the room with exaggerated curiosity, as though he were a tourist on a sightseeing trip, rather than the leader of a boarding party. "Interstellar law, you say?" he mused, stroking his beard thoughtfully. "Funny, I don't recall any laws that permit spying on other species or plotting invasions. Must have missed that chapter in Space Law 101. Maya Collins's eye stalks quivered with rage. "We were on a peaceful scientific mission." "Ah, yes," Ethan Marlowe nodded knowingly, a playful grin tugging at his lips. "The old peaceful scientific mission routine. Tell me, do all your peaceful missions involve warships brimming with enough firepower to glass a small moon? Because if so, I'd hate to see what you consider a hostile expedition." The human soldiers behind Ethan Marlowe chuckled, their weapons still aimed unwaveringly at their targets. The Xrathawk looked more and more nervous, their gelatinous bodies rippling with anxiety. Tyler Morgan, in a rare moment of either extreme courage or utter madness, decided to speak up. But how did you find us? Our cloaking technology is unmatched." Ethan Marlowe's grin widened, his tone almost playful. "Oh, that's an interesting story, actually. You see, we humans have this quaint little saying, necessity is the mother of invention. And boy, did we find it necessary to invent some new toys after you folks started poking around our borders." He gestured to one of his team members, who stepped forward holding a small, innocuous-looking cube. "This little beauty here," Ethan Marlowe continued, "we call it the Slime Detector 9000. Catchy name, right? It can pick up the unique quantum signature of your bioorganic technology from halfway across a solar system." The Xrathawk stared at the device, wide-eyed with horror. Jarrell Xnax's color had drained to a sickly pale green. "That's impossible," he whispered. Ethan Marlowe shrugged nonchalantly. "Funny thing about humans, we tend to do a lot of impossible things, especially when someone tells us we can't. It's like catnip to us." He took another step forward, his expression turning serious. "Now here's the deal. You're going to hand over all the intelligence you've gathered on Earth and our allies. Then, you're going to tell us everything you know about the Thalnar Empire's plans for this sector. And finally, you're going to come with us for a little chat with our xenobiologists. They're dying to learn more about your unique physiology." Bloopzor, who had been cowering behind a console, suddenly found his voice. "And if we refuse?" Ethan Marlowe's smile turned predatory. "Well, let's just say we've developed some very interesting applications for your sensitivity to certain chemical compounds. Ever wondered what would happen if we introduced a calcium-based solution into your environment? No? Well, we're very curious to find out." The color drained from every Xrathawk in the room simultaneously, leaving them all a translucent, quivering mess. Realizing the gravity of their situation, Maya Collins deflated visibly. "Very well," he gurgled in defeat. "We surrender." "Excellent choice," Ethan Marlowe beamed. He turned to his team. "All right, folks, let's start gathering intel, and someone find me a mop." "I think our new friends here are losing their composure literally," Maya Collins muttered as the human soldiers continued to secure the ship and its crew. Tyler Morgan leaned over, his eye stalks trembling. "Sir, I don't understand. How can these humans be so terrifying?" Maya Collins completed his thought for him, his voice tinged with disbelief. "Competent, unpredictable, yes, all of that." "Exactly," Tyler Morgan agreed, his eye stalks wobbling in confusion. Maya Collins sighed, the sound resembling air escaping from a gelatinous balloon. "I think, my young protege, we're about to find out exactly why humans are considered the most dangerous warriors in the universe, and I have a feeling we're not going to like the answer." Back on the bridge of the Relentless, Commander Maya Collins monitored the boarding operation with a mix of pride and exasperation. Pride in her crew's efficiency and exasperation with the antics of her commanding officer. "Ma'am," Lieutenant Tyler Morgan called out, "we're receiving a transmission from the captain." Maya Collins nodded, tapping her console. Put it through. Ethan Marlowe's voice crackled through the comm system, accompanied by what sounded suspiciously like squelching noises. Sharma, you won't believe what we've found. These Zratok, they're like giant amoebas with delusions of grandeur. And let me tell you, their filing system is a nightmare. Ever tried reading a datapad covered in slime? Maya Collins pinched the bridge of her nose, trying to stifle a smile. Focus, Captain. What's the status of the mission? Oh, right, the mission, Ethan Marlowe replied, his voice dripping with mischief. Maya Collins could practically hear the grin in his voice. Well, good news and bad news. The good news is, we've secured the ship, and the crew's surrendered. The bad news is, we're going to need a lot more containment units. These guys are drippy. Understood, Maya Collins said, tapping commands into her console to prepare for the incoming prisoners. Any valuable intel? There was a pause, filled with more squelching noises, and what might have been muffled, alien whimpering. Oh, we've hit the mother lode, Commander. It seems our slimy friends here were planning something huge. I think we've just stumbled onto the blueprints for their entire invasion strategy. Maya Collins' eyes widened. That's incredible, sir. Well done. Don't congratulate me yet, Ethan Marlowe cautioned. We still need to get this intel back to Earth HQ and figure out what to do with our new guests. I don't suppose the mess hall has any large aquariums lying around? I'll check, Maya Collins replied, keeping her voice neutral. Anything else? Just one thing, Ethan Marlowe said, his tone shifting to seriousness. Tell the crew to prepare for emergency decontamination procedures when we get back. I don't know what this slime is made of, but I have a feeling our laundry department is going to hate us for the next month. Maya Collins couldn't help but chuckle. Understood, Captain. We'll be ready. Sharma out. As she closed the communication channel, Maya Collins leaned back in her chair, shaking her head in disbelief. Once again, humanity had faced an alien threat that, by all accounts, should have been superior, and once again, they had come out on top. Lieutenant Tyler Morgan, she called out. Set a course back to Earth. It's time to show the brass exactly what kind of hornet's nest we've stirred up. Aye, Commander, Lieutenant Tyler Morgan replied, his fingers flying over the navigation controls. Course laid in. We'll be home in time for dinner. As the Relentless gracefully turned in space, leaving the captured Thalnar vessel behind, Maya Collins felt a surge of pride. This was why humans were the most dangerous warriors in the universe, not because of their strength, technology, or ruthlessness, but because they were adaptable, unpredictable, and above all, they never, ever gave up. Look out, universe, she murmured to herself, as the stars streaked past on the view screen. Humanity is just getting started. In the weeks that followed, the intelligence gathered from the Thalnar ship proved to be a game-changer. Earth scientists and military strategists pored over the data, unraveling the mysteries of Thalnar technology and battle tactics. But perhaps more importantly, they began to understand why the aliens had considered humans such a threat in the first place. Dr. Isabel Harper, head of xenobiology at the Earth Defense Force, stood before a panel of military officials, her excitement barely contained as she presented her findings. Gentlemen, she began, her eyes sparkling with the thrill of discovery, what we've learned from our Thalnar guests is nothing short of revolutionary. It seems that their entire society, their technology, even their biology, is based on a principle of homeostasis, a resistance to change. She clicked a button, and a holographic image of a Thalnar appeared in the center of the room. Their bodies are designed to maintain a constant internal environment. Their ships are built to replicate the conditions of their homeworld. Even their battle strategies rely on maintaining the status quo and overwhelming the enemy with a steady, unchanging force. General Nathaniel Stone, a grizzled veteran of countless alien encounters, leaned forward in his seat. And how does this relate to their perception of humans as a threat, Doctor? Dr. Isabel Harper's smile widened. That's the beautiful part, General. We are their worst nightmare. Humans are adaptable. We thrive on change. We seek out new experiences, new challenges. We modify our environment instead of requiring it to remain the same. In essence, we are an evolutionary force made manifest. She clicked to the next slide, showing a series of human achievements throughout history. Think about it. In just a few thousand years, a blink of an eye in cosmic terms, We went from cave drawings to space travel. We've survived ice ages, plagues, and wars. We've turned deadly plants and animals into food and pets. We take hostile environments and not only survive in them, but make them our homes. The room fell silent as the implications of her words sank in. Dr. Isabel Harper spoke again, her voice full of awe and fascination. To the Xrathok, we must appear as some kind of cosmic nightmare, a species that not only survives change but actively seeks it. We embrace the unknown, not as a threat, but as an opportunity. It goes completely against everything they believe about how the universe operates. General Stone, taking in her words slowly, raised an eyebrow. So, you're telling us our greatest strength is our adaptability? Dr. Isabel Harper, with a knowing smile, finished his thought for him. Exactly. Our creativity, our unyielding drive to evolve and overcome the very obstacles that have shaped our survival here on Earth, are the same qualities that make us unstoppable in space. She paused and looked around the room, her eyes meeting the faces of the military officials, who were now fully captivated. Gentlemen, we've been thinking about this all wrong. It's not about bigger weapons or stronger shields. It's about embracing what makes us human, our unpredictability, our ingenuity, and our fierce refusal to accept failure. As Dr. Isabel Harper's words settled in, a buzz of excitement began to build among the officers. Strategies were discussed, new plans were laid out, and a fresh era of human space exploration and defense began to unfold. Meanwhile, in a high-security containment facility, a group of increasingly confused Xrathok watched their captors, still unable to comprehend the joy humans seem to derive from facing the unknown, from pushing boundaries, from constantly evolving. But slowly, the Xrathok began to grasp why humans were spoken of with such fear and awe across the galaxy, why even the most advanced alien species hesitated to challenge these adaptable beings. Humanity wasn't dangerous just because of their weapons or technology. They were dangerous because they were, in essence, the living embodiment of change itself. And in a universe that often appeared rigid and unyielding, that made humans the most powerful force of all. As Captain Ethan Marlowe liked to say, flashing a grin that was almost mischievous, "In space, no one can hear you scheme, but they sure as hell can hear us laugh in the face of impossible odds." And that, perhaps, was the most terrifying thing of all.